Good day, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Niger's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has arrived Lagos to represent President Muhammadu Buhari on a two-day official visit to the state. After he touched down in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, he proceeded to commission the new response unit of the Lagos State Emergency Agency, LASEMA. Present at the event was the Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode, Minister of Works and Power Raji Fashola, Senator Bahiru Ashafa of Lagos State constituency, among others. Now, before the Vice President's arrival, President Muhammadu Buhari was earlier scheduled to arrive Lagos State for the inauguration of several projects by the administration of Governor Ambode. However, the presidency on Sunday announced a postponement of President Buhari's visit due to what it called scheduling difficulties. Spokesperson Garba Shehu said the president needed more time to visit Lagos. The Niger Labour Congress (NLC) has suspended its nationwide strike action call to protest the government's decision to increase pump price of petrol and hike in electricity tariffs. NLC President Ayuba Waba said the union resolved to suspend the strike action with immediate effect following an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council of the NLC. Waba added that the NLC has also agreed to resume negotiations with the Nigerian government on the twin issues of the hike in electricity tariff and an increase in the pump price of petrol products. Fuel, which used to sell for 86 naira per litre, now sells for 145 naira per litre.
After an exhaustive deliberation, the National Executive Council noted its protest action was informed by the twin issue of unjustifiable and illegal hike in electricity tariff, an increase in the pump price of petroleum products. NEC adjoined the protest action to be a success in spite of the internal and external challenges. NEC restates the correctness of its position on the twin issue of electricity tariff hike and astronomical increase in the pump price of PMS and the hardship they portend for Nigerian masses. NEC also acknowledged that the temptation to compare the strike action with that of 2012 could not be compelling, but that the scenarios had changed as both the actors and the terrain were different. NEC said before it had embarked on the action, it had anticipated a probable outcome and therefore was not surprised by government's negative response. Nevertheless, it felt fulfilled by having the presence of mind and courage by identifying its mission and fulfilling it, stressing that if a similar situation arises again, it will still arise and stand with the people. NEC therefore commend those who took part in the action in one way or the other and reaffirm its commitment to the struggle. The action, it reiterates, was taken in the best interest of the poor and the working class and in drawing government's attention to the dangers of relying on importation of petroleum products as a sustainable strategy for making available petroleum products. It expressed the belief that in the days ahead, time will prove its position right. Congress singled out for commendation its state councils, affiliates, and other patriotic Nigerians who at very short notice picked up the gauntlet for this struggle. Congress commend the leadership of the National Assembly and, in particular, the All Progressive Congress leadership led by Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu. In consideration of the above, NEC, after due consultation with its constituents, resolved to suspend with immediate effect May 18, 2016. The action is thus hereby suspended. Congress will resume negotiation with the government on twin issue of hike in the tariff and increase in pump price of products and any other issue that may arise thereof.
The Nigerian military has stepped up operations in the country's restive Niger Delta region following the attacks on several pipelines by suspected militants. Led by the Chief of Defense Staff, the service chiefs converged on Ojoloma Jetty in Okrika under 82 Division of the Nigerian Army. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Chukwuburutai, who was also present, said the commissioning of refurbished gunboats is part of a collaborative effort to provide the needed equipment to combat the security challenges in the oil-rich region. The operation comes days after President Muhammad Buhari ordered a heightened military presence in the restive Niger Delta region to deal with the resurgence of militant attacks on oil and gas facilities. Attacks on these oil and gas facilities in the last few weeks have driven Niger's oil output to a more than 20-year low. A group calling itself the Niger Delta Avengers has claimed responsibility for most of the attacks. Now, just before the military began its operations in the Niger Delta region, suspected militants attacked a crude oil pipeline in Niger's southern state of Bayelsa. The Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps confirmed the attack, which occurred on a pipeline operated by the local subsidiary of Italy's ENI Agip. Meanwhile, the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta men has broken its silence and condemned the recent spate of attacks on oil installations in the Niger Delta region carried out by the group known as the Niger Delta Avengers. In a statement signed by spokesperson Jomo Gbomo, men also urged President Muhammad Buhari to release the Oka brothers, who are known as Henry and Charles Oka. They were both arrested in 2010 for their alleged role in the Independence Day bomb blasts in Abuja. A report by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, (NITI), has uncovered a fresh fraud in the NNPC. In its 2013 audit report published on Monday, NITI revealed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and its sub-units during the year either lost or refused to remit a total of 2.23 trillion naira, consisting of $9.75 billion and 378.67 billion naira to the Federation account as earnings from various aspects of its operations in 2013. The report, which was revealed by the Minister of Solid Minerals, Kayode Fayemi, stated that the unremitted funds were the sum of dividends, interest and loan repayment from the Niger Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG). Former Minister of Finance Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has filed an appeal against a court judgment which ordered her to account how 30 trillion naira of public funds were spent during her time in office. A federal high court in Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria, had ordered Okonjo-Iweala and the federal government to account for some of the money spent during the last administration. The judgment followed a Freedom of Information suit filed by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, (SERAP). SERAP's suit followed revelations by former Central Bank of Niger Governor Charles Soludo that at least 30 trillion naira has either been stolen or unaccounted for or grossly mismanaged over the last few years under the watch of the Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, is expected to remain in jail after the respondents of the Nigerian government failed to show up in court for his trial on Monday. El-Zakzaky, through his lawyer Femi Falana, had filed the suit before a federal high court in Abuja demanding 2 billion naira as damages for alleged unlawful detention, invasion of property, and the murder of his 3 children by the Nigerian Army. Parties in the matter include the Chief of Army Staff, Attorney General of the Federation, and the Attorney General of Kaduna State. The case is adjourned till June 14 to allow the respondents their right to fair hearing. The Shiite leader is being charged with criminal conspiracy, inciting public disturbances, among others. In December, Shiite members had a clash with the Nigerian army and hundreds of people were killed. The army had accused the Shiite group of attempting to assassinate Chief of Army Staff Chukwuburutai, a claim the group has since denied. Niger's employment crisis worsened in the first quarter of 2016, with unemployment rate rising to 12.1%. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) confirmed the figures in a statement it released. In its latest Unemployment Watch report, the Bureau said that between December 2015 and March 2016, the population of unemployed Nigerians increased by 518,000 to 1.45 million. The NBS said its computations were based on the International Labour Organization's definition, of which described unemployment as the population of persons aged 15 to 64 who during the reference period were available for work, actively seeking for work, but were unable to find work. A former Director General of the Niger Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Raymond Omasheye, has appealed the 5-year jail term slammed on him last week. A federal high court sitting in Lagos State and presided over by Justice Rita Ofili had sentenced Omasheye after finding him guilty in a 1.5 billion naira contract scam. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had arraigned the former NIMASA boss for engaging in contract splitting and bid rigging estimated at over 1.5 billion naira while he was the DG of NIMASA. Omasheye, in the appeal by his lawyer Edoka Onyeke, argued that he was persecuted and not prosecuted, stressing that contract splitting, though existing in the law, does not exist. Moving on to politics now, security operatives have cordoned off the headquarters of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, the nation's capital. The Inspector General of the Police Force, Solomon Arase, ordered the deployment of police assets to secure the PDP secretariat following the intra-party crisis rocking the opposition party. Over the weekend, the PDP had removed its national chairman, Senator Ali Modu Sheriff, and set up a caretaker committee. His removal came on the same day the party had scheduled to hold a national convention. The Nigerian police force has warned aggrieved factional leaders and members of the PDP to desist from causing disorder in the country. The PDP is currently enmeshed in a leadership crisis which culminated in 2 parallel conventions in Abuja and Port Harcourt on Saturday. The convention produced 3 sets of leaders. Now, still on the PDP convention, the Jerry Ghana-led faction of the PDP has stated its commitment towards restoring the image of the party. The faction had organized a parallel national convention at the same time as another convention led by the party's national chairman, Ali Modu Sheriff, in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. At the convention, the former Minister of Information, Jerry Ghana, and other founding members of the party pledged to renew the party and affirm its founding visions and ideals. Also speaking at the convention was the former Deputy Senate President, Ibrahim Mantu.
Mindful of our role as elders and conscious of our great party, we the elders, in reviewing recent events, have come to the painful conclusion that the culture of impunity, disdain for democratic norms, and utter disregard of our party constitution, behavior that brought us to 2015 loss, are rearing their ugly heads again. It was that in our congresses, that took place. Thank you. We must say no to impunity, no to imposition, no to any form of disrespect for our culture and constitution. We must say yes to due process. Everything must be done in accordance with the expectation and aspiration of the people. That is why we say power belongs to the people. When we say PDP, say power to the people. But power is gradually being pocketed by a handful of few. We say no. We want to assure you that by the grace of God, the PDP will be united. The PDP will be together. The PDP will be alive. The PDP will move forward. And this PDP, I just want to assure you and to remind you that in the vision of the founding fathers, the PDP was founded first and foremost for a free and democratic society in Nigeria. We are the ones who are the promoters of democracy. That is why the founding fathers chose for us that whenever we are gathered, we should really remind ourselves that PDP is power to the people. That is the essence of democracy. Democracy is about consultation. Democracy is about debate. Democracy is about making sure the people matter. Therefore, this gathering is to promote the kind of democracy that will return this party to the people. When you want to elect leaders, we respect your will, we respect your election, no imposition, no impunity, no wuru-wuru, no magu-magu.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at business and sports stories. Don't go away.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, but this way you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man, that's you. It's too much. So you get to like, make you move along the street. Ah, yeah, me should like that, I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few.
I'm forever taking it personal. I will listen 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? Brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business. I know the pitfalls, I know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we tell you. We do the way you do.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, they will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News Now. Niger's gross domestic product contracted by 0.36% in the first quarter of the year. This comes as the worst crisis to grip Africa's biggest economy in decades continues to deepen. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics had stated this in a statement released recently. The contraction compares with growth of 2.11% in the fourth quarter of 2015 and 3.96% in the same period last year, heightening expectations that the CBN will take actions when its Monetary Policy Committee meets on Tuesday. Africa's economy is likely to grow by 3.7%, the African Development Bank said on Monday. This comes as resilient private consumption and investment offset the effect of a slump in commodity prices and global headwinds. Launching its latest regional economic outlook in the Zambian capital, the AFDB also said growth could accelerate to 4.5% next year if commodity prices recovered and the global economy strengthened. Oil prices fell for a fourth consecutive session on Monday after Iran insisted it would not freeze crude oil output, returning investor attention to a global glut. Brent crude was down 41 cents at $48.31 per barrel, while U.S. crude was trading at $47.91 per barrel, down 50 cents on Friday's close. Iran's Deputy Oil Minister Rokneddin Javadi told Iran's Mehr news agency on Sunday his country had no plan to halt a rise in oil production and exports. His comments further dampened hopes of a coordinated decision to freeze OPEC oil production at a meeting of the exporter group in Vienna in June. South Africa's prosecution says it will appeal against a court ruling that it should reconsider corruption charges leveled against President Jacob Zuma. The charges relating to a multi-billion-dollar arms deal were dropped in 2009, clearing the way for Zuma to be elected president just a few weeks later. At the same time, state prosecutors justified dropping the charges by saying that tapped phone calls between officials in then-President Thabo Mbeki's administration showed political interference in the case. But the Pretoria High Court last month dismissed the decision to discontinue the charges against Zuma as irrational and said it should be reviewed by the national prosecuting authorities. At least 78 people have been killed in a series of bomb attacks in two government strongholds on Syria's Mediterranean coast, state media has reported. A suicide bomber and a car bomb blew up within minutes of each other at a bus station in the port city of Tartus. A bus station and a hospital were also among the targets of 4 bomb blasts in Jabla, a town to the north. A news agency linked to the so-called Islamic State militants said the jihadist group were behind the attacks. Moving on to sports now, Jos based side Giwa FC have filed an appeal against its expulsion from the Nigerian Professional Football League. The club was last week expelled from the NPFL by the League Management Association after it failed to honor 3 consecutive home games. The team had been banished to Ilorin owing to crowd violence during the game against Enugu Rangers. However, in a letter to the LMA, the secretary of Giwa FC, Samson Adamu, said the club had rejected the ruling and would launch an appeal. The Flying Eagles of Niger have returned to the country after defeating Burundi at the 2017 African Under-20 Cup of Nations qualifiers. Emmanuel Amunike's team left Burundi on Sunday and had a stopover in Ethiopia, from where they made their way back into the country. The team currently holds a 1-0 lead over Young Swallows of Burundi. The second leg match will take place at the UJ Eswene Stadium in Calabar on Saturday, June 11th. Manchester United have sacked manager Louis van Gaal despite the Dutchman's FA Cup victory on Saturday. The former Bayern Munich and Barcelona manager had endured a torrid time in charge of the Red Devils, with most United fans calling for his dismissal after the club finished 5th in the 2015-16 Premier League season, thus missing out on a Champions League place. However, it was almost certain the 64-year-old had saved his job after he led the club to his first silverware after the departure of legendary Sir Alex Ferguson. One of those rumored to replace Van Gaal is ex-Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho. Well, we've come to the end of news now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.